interesting to be up here today. About a year ago, we were up here. The weather was a lot nastier. By the way, if you came through New York, they've shut down the city. Great to be here. A year ago we talked about the transformation of Avaya. We talked about a lot of the things that we brought forth to better our coverage models, to improve our segmentation, to recognize our customers for the segment that they represent, and to bring to them the right route to market products and technology in the way that they wanted to consume it. And it was an exciting time, and it's continued through the last 12 months, but it's interesting to watch how the market itself has changed in the last 12 months and transformed even more than we at Avaya or collectively with our partners could ever have imagined transformation. The world really, really is changing. And what I'd like to talk about is it's not business as usual. There are a lot of different elements that come into play, a lot of different examples of impact on our lives, a lot of things that every day transform not just who we are, what we do, but what we're bringing to our customers in terms of the value proposition, how they want to consume it. And those changes are things that we want to make sure that we share collectively, partners, customers, make sure that everybody understands how our clients want to consume what we bring together to market. I was just with our Executive Advisory Council through last week with several of the members of our EC, and talking about these things, talking about things that are different than what you see up on the screen. These are the effects, right? These are the cool shock things that you put up on stage when you're trying to impress your audience. But frankly, these are the effect of the changes that our customers are living through every day. And I want to talk about those changes and forces that are affecting us and affecting our customers. Those things are very different. Their mobility, taking BYOD to a very, very, very long, higher, much more stronger level. They're about cloud and cloud empowerment. I'll talk a lot about that. And it's about application enablement. I was with analysts a little earlier in the month, and a couple of questions that came along were kind of out of the box. What is Avaya really? And I think Avaya has become, and we talk about software and services and the organization and cloud route to market, has become a platform for application enablement. And that is truly what you're going to hear through Gary Barnett's presentation and several others, how we have become an open platform for application enablement, and why that's important to our clients. And just like your customers, like your families, like you, we've all changed. And so the customer's conversation needs to change. Right? What we bring to them, how we go to market needs to change. It has to be focused on value as defined by them, not by us. It has to be defined on simplicity, flexibility, on-demand access. All things that today people use to define cloud or cloud enablement or any other type of route to market. It's about letting them and us capture social networking, mobility and applications as key drivers of momentum, and obviously cloud. When I'm in the Valley, just like anywhere else in the United States or through Latin America, Canada, the customer profiles have changed. The CEO is different. And the value proposition is no longer about UC purchased in a box. It's no longer about connectivity of physical elements and how we keep that inside of an intranet and how we create communication links to our employees, standardized. Right? It's no longer about selling software as infrastructure or maintenance releases and then coming back 2-3 years later and trying to renew that. Not about feeds and speeds and price and discounts. It's about experiences and it's about delivering business value. And that's what I'm trying to instill in every one of my sales force, my salespeople's minds and mouths as they engage with our customers. Defining the value to the client. Every conversation, every engagement. Defining value to the client. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about today, both on the elements of transformation, because I do want to walk you through a little bit more about transformation as a company, our organization, but I also want to walk you through the customer's journey and what I'm hearing specifically from those clients in all different industries and markets about what they desire as an outcome and what they define as a successful engagement or not so successful engagement based on that outcome: productivity, revenue growth, market entrance, etc. So that's what the new conversations are all about: outcomes. And I see a lot of large organizations that are investing in application development programs, and for them, all of that application development, all the things you see up on the screen here, examples, cloud is the enabling force. Uber is challenging the taxi industry, right, by creating access to taxis anywhere, anytime. Airbnb is challenging the hotel industry in the same way, and very disruptive, right? As much as Amazon was in the early days to the Barnes and Nobles of the world. And then drones are changing the game for logistics companies. You've seen the ads for 30-minute delivery from Amazon using drone technology. Then you hear of drones landing on the White House lawn yesterday. But these things are game changers, and harnessing them and creating that enabling force around them is what they're all about. For many of our clients, for most of our clients, in fact, I tell you that over 80% of the conversations I've had with CIOs and CEOs in the last 3 months have been around cloud. Whether the engagement or the discussion was meant to be cloud or not, it turned to cloud. Cloud is the preferred route to market. It's the opportunity for us to serve our customers in a way that's very different from prem-based solutions of the past. And when you think of cloud in our world, the most prevalent component of it is private cloud services. And public cloud services delivered through partners, delivered through entities, continue as a communication layer, more and more commoditized. But private cloud services will remain for several years, and I'll talk about it at depth in a few minutes. And the reason is pretty simple. If you talk to any CEO, interface with any CXO in an organization today, what he'll tell you is his primary concern is cybersecurity. And private cloud leads to a much more secure environment, even in their minds, even though reality around public cloud might be that some of them are pretty secure. The element is that private cloud services and cybersecurity are coming together, and we'll see private cloud grow for the years to come. The application world is now the key focus of every one of our clients. At the Executive Advisory Council, I was with Liberty Mutual, Hugo, the head architect, talking to his CIO and talking to the owner of their private insurance division. And one conversation is all about the development of applications, taking them into the brave new world of engagement, using video, using different ways to engage with their clients and gaining competitive advantage. Hugo has to do the catch, right, from all those applications and work through workflows and development and common APIs and try to adapt quickly and try to bring those applications to them in a way that's seamless and quick and creates that competitive advantage. And when he can't, right, he's hammered by those businesses on the other side. The applications and application development has to be streamlined. We're going to show you some of the key ways we've been doing that, the ways that we can now collectively bring that to market as a huge competitive advantage and a key differentiator to the market for our customers. And so it's no longer conversations about infrastructure. In fact, if you're talking about CapEx-based transactions with customers, most of them will shy away. Or they'll look for price. And they'll look at how do I reduce the cost of implementation. And unless they're a huge organization that have a lot of support structures, the more you go into the enterprise and down to the commercial space, less people want to talk about CapEx-based transactions. They want to talk about cloud. Or they want to talk about simplicity of installation, integration, and management at a minimum. And the world of physical UC devices continues to decline. purpose-built video, purpose-built voice, right? With single usage, not growing. And not going to grow, right? Reminds me of the old display writer days, right? Why would you want a purpose-built device? And that's what our customers are thinking is declining. So again, a move towards as a service, infrastructure as a service, all those elements are coming into play because of these factors, and that's why I wanted to highlight that for you today. Now, when you think of cybersecurity, like I mentioned a minute ago, obviously you think of Target, right? That was kind of the first big breach in the industry, big wake-up call, right? Everybody's Visa card out in the market, everybody shopped at Targets at least once in the last year, so everybody was vulnerable, huge amount of money. But the most interesting one was Sony. Because when the terrorists hit Sony, they changed everything. They didn't just attack the information and the data and try to create some havoc in the industry. They went after the business. They wanted to show how vulnerable everybody is. A company the size of Sony reported a $1 billion loss to their business because of that one breach. They lost customer goodwill, their CSAT decreased, and their entire business processes needed to be re-engineered. The impact was directly to the Windows platform on their devices, on their laptops. They had to replace all of the infrastructure for every single one of the users affected, which was most of their employees. They had to move from Microsoft to a Google environment, to avoid this in the future. They had to shut down all their applications. So I'll tell you, from that event, when your customers look at it in detail, everyone is taking notice. Cybersecurity is the most important thing that's in your customers' CXOs, CIOs, CEOs' mind. Believe me. And so I want to talk about innovation in cloud for a little bit. Now, cloud demand, as you know, is exploding. The other day I went on to try to buy a new release of Photoshop, and I can't buy it. Adobe won't sell it to me except in a cloud environment. That is how the market moved. That's what I meant by the market has changed in the last year pretty dramatically. Cloud is making disruptive innovation a reality. Pace of innovation is accelerating pretty dramatically. It's delivering all kinds of new forms of value and outcomes to our customers. Because cloud provides easy access to all the building blocks that are required for new businesses to be built. It takes a lot of the elements of concern of the past and eradicates them very rapidly. It gives access, processing and storage capabilities, and advanced applications that were very expensive and very difficult to implement in the past, and now brings them forward. So with cloud, you no longer have to raise vast amounts of capital to acquire technology infrastructure. Cloud lowers the barriers to entry, and it unleashes all the entrepreneurial energies and motions within our customer sets. All of a sudden, that private consumer insurance developer is the most empowered person in that company. No longer has to look over at IT and say, oh, geez, I wish I could go here from an application, but you can't support it. I wish I could use video with my clients because Net Promoter Score goes up 10 points, well known when you use video through your contact center engagements, but he can't. No longer. More and more companies are emerging with video as a service in the cloud, different opportunities for applications in the cloud, and are going directly into the lines of businesses and engaging with them outside of IT. And they're doing it because of cloud. Bain & Company predicted that revenue from cloud products and services is going to rise by about $150 billion by 2020. And I'll tell you, it'll be there by 2017. A very conservative picture. So what is the big picture? Well, according to Forbes, and we'll hear from Forrester here, so very similar, business cloud priorities are creating agility in the organizations. They're creating ability to impact customer intelligence much faster, improving data. They're creating best-in-class products and services capabilities. They're IT-enabling innovation, which is kind of different because innovation used to be stifled by IT. I don't like to say it when we're in the IT industry, but it was. Capabilities from IT were limiting, because of cost factors or ability, the innovation of the company. And now it's the opposite. It's creating leadership. Those are the top priorities that Forbes is listing around cloud enablement. At Avaya, our top business priorities are pretty simple. Open platform, application enablement, mobility, and cybersecurity focus. And cloud as a route to market. And I'll walk you through those as we go. Now for cloud, you can see some of the impressive numbers behind me. The cloud market by 2019 itself is estimated to grow to over 10 billion in terms of spend. About 23% of the UC and CC converged spend in 2012 was cloud. 2012, already 3 years later. And it's predicted to grow by about 32% by 2017. Hosted IP telephony itself continues to grow about 11% CAGR. 70% of the CIOs that we've interfaced with in our executive advisory council, so these numbers are pretty fresh, expected software as a service to be a key element. About half of them thought infrastructure as a service was a key driver of what they thought, and 30% of the CIOs listed cloud in their top 3 investments in their revenue and discretionary spend. Third. A year ago it would have been 5%. Right? That has been elevated pretty dramatically. So the world is moving to cloud, and very rapidly. Another view, when you look at the shift to cloud-based services, is the mix, and you can see hosted private cloud and enterprise private cloud taking the larger chunk of that bar chart. But IT budgets are shifting, and traditional on-prem infrastructure spend is moving to cloud. Customers you talk to that have low budgets in a traditional way of buying, a traditional way of engaging with you, are now moving into cloud spend at a much, much greater rate and opening up budgets across their businesses, across their lines of businesses, and growing their business in that way. And if we're not playing in the cloud, and we're not offering those services collectively, we're working on a declining market. So why is the cloud shift so significant for them? A couple of ideas up there. Skill shortage. I think mitigating risk and improving performance is usually important. But I also think that accelerating transformation and in refocusing a lot of the elements of their core businesses is the most important component when you're talking into the CXO ranks within organizations. How do they accelerate their transformation and often themselves get them back on a transformation path to growth? And they're leveraging these technologies and the shift to cloud to speed up the application component, speed up the application enablement. So before, if you look at the way it impacts our business and your business, we're very product focused, right? Software, applications, the products, infrastructure related. And what we're moving to is a completely outcome focus. So it's easy to say, not easy to do. We've been at it for quite some time with our own sales force at Avaya, and I know with yours. But it's hard, right? Moving people, the keyword, solution, right? Outcomes. Solution is only an outcome defined in customers' terms. You can't define it in customers' terms, it's not a solution. It's just a set of boxes put together with a solution wrapped on it. So an outcome has to be focused on, 3 years of stability. It has to be focused on optimization. It has to be focused on the subscription model and how the customer wants to consume it, what the benefits are within their business, in their consumers, with their customers, with their internal or external customers. And customers can consume cloud solutions from cloud partners, powered by Avaya, or leveraging cloud solutions within Avaya. But I can tell you that if cloud is not top of mind with you, as at least 30% or 35% of your engagement model, look around you. A lot of you won't be in this room next year. It has to become the preferred route to market, and we have to help you and ourselves get there. Get there in a way that makes money for you, get there in a way that aligns to the budgets that are growing, not the budgets that are receding, takes away the cost of selling infrastructure, and builds a motion that is focused on customers' outcomes. And I know not necessarily very popular with some of you when I say things like that, but I'll show you the revenue streams, and I've actually added some slides in this just to try to show you the shift in revenue streams within Avaya and the market. You'll see that we have not shifted. Already it would be difficult for us to pay for the people in this room. It is not an if. It's not even a when. It's a now. So what I'm trying to depict here is a little bit of a client life cycle in the cloud. And it might start up with a customer who signs up with private cloud services, contact center cloud solution. And as you move to the left, my right, sorry, the model implements a kind of base design and cloud infrastructure, but it's scalable to grow over time. And that's what really customers are looking for. They're looking for a way for them to allow other applications, other services to be added at ease when they need them, at their pace. That's the true cloud infrastructure solution. That's the real path to winning, not a pointed cloud video solution, and let's go back and try to develop something else next week. And there's room for that. But really what they're looking for is additions of functionality, user applications, adding sites growing at their speed and consumed as a service. I mean, that would be kind of how our Executive Advisory Council wrapped it for us. And whether it's Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, Santander, all these companies are telling us, you know what, the key word is as a service, if that's one word. They're really looking at consumption models moving from platform to ease of engagement. We engaged in a fantastic and I'm very proud of transaction with Tesla in California. Proud because it's kind of in the backyard. A lot of us drive Teslas now. But the fun part with it was that it was hard to define really what we were doing with them up front. They were moving internationally very quickly, especially into China. And they needed a route to market to get away from prem-based deployments in areas where they had very little capability to support, where operating costs were very high, and where they wanted to manage to the user base as the user base evolved. And I remember discussions with Bill Riley where he said, you know what, we're starting out at 125 employees, and I wouldn't be surprised if we were 20,000 employees in a very, very short period of time. And I think they scaled already to about 1,250 by the time we did the first implementation in China. And the objective is to scale up into about 7,000 level. And the only thing they said was, we want that ease of deployment. We want a uniform structure. Very key that the communication layer be there. Sorry. Very key that the communications be in place day one. And the only thing they asked us was, you need to have that in place, cloud-enabled, before we deliver the first car. And we built it beat them by 3 days. But the key word is we were working at customer speed. And speed was the outcome they were looking for. New sites, and we've since then grown into the United States and Europe with this client. Nothing really that we deliver is any different. It's the route to market that's different. We still deliver communication services, we've converged. You see in contact center, integrated network technology. You can do all that in prem, but we deliver it through cloud. That's what I bring to you as the proposition our customers are looking for as their preferred outcome. And you look at the business itself, I was talking about mobility a minute ago. Mobility is key because it is the epitome of BYOD. It's what every customer is looking for, whether it's contact center technology, UC technology, communications technology. It's how they want to engage. Yesterday I was flying in through here. I made a pit stop at an airport on the way, and I had a meeting to attend with all of our New York team and our globals with several clients. And so I'm sitting there and I think, geez, I can just barely make it to the United little lounge, and finally, there was no time. There were just too many people. So I sat down and I pulled up my iPhone, and I clicked on the link, and I brought up the video screen, and I had access to data. I saw all 23 people on the call. I brought up the voice enablement, I had a meeting. I had my little headset on, a couple of kids screaming around and mute, but at the end of the day, I created a mobility experience that permitted me to engage in that client's, all of those clients, meeting with our people seamlessly, give my 5 minutes of dialogue, listen through the next 15 or so, a couple of interactions and go. I got 27 emails from the 27 clients that were there, didn't know each other, were emailing, telling me how amazing that experience was, sitting in the airport. They'd never done it before, and they wanted to know how I did that. I did it using Scopia. And I did it using the public internet, right? I didn't even use Wi-Fi, I was on LTE. Low bandwidth, high definition, capabilities to integrate data, communications layer. I showed them mobility. So what you see here is some of the growth numbers. UC apps and CC apps, I think, are converging pretty dramatically. When you look at just the communication side of what we call unified communications or engagement, those applications are growing about 8.3% CAGR. I think it's here. And the contact center space is growing about 8.7% through the next year and a half. But growth in hosted cloud is growing 18% plus. Those numbers are all numbers that come from the industry, not from us. Ultra-mobile units are growing 30%, greater than 30%. And smartphone units, you've seen how fast those are growing, over 50% CAGR through 2018. So mobility is not just here to stay. I think it is, other than security elements and a route to market through cloud, when you think of what you're actually bringing to market, application enablement, mobility is what you're enabling. And when people ask me what Avaya is all about, that's what I tell them. Application enablement. I tell them it's about user-defined application enablement. It's about BYOD or mobility. It's no longer about rationalizing or eliminating applications or corporate apps. In the past several years when we were talking to customers, they said, wow, we have 400 applications to support. I've got to reduce that number. I've got to consolidate data centers. I've got to lower cost of. Do you have those discussions with people today? Today, I meet somebody and it's about application enablement at the user's pace. It's about leveraging the consumer and business applications in a seamless architecture with all of the enterprise applications. Creating a platform that helps them work at the speed of their customers, internal or external, within our customer base. It's not about less applications anymore. Many of you have an iPhone or an Android device. Stupid question, all of you. Who counts how many applications are on their phone every day and says, wow, I got to try to reduce that. It looks kind of ugly on my, it opened another screen on my 28 gigabyte phone. It's not about reducing the applications. It's about creating a seamless platform for those applications to be integrated without having to create a hard-coded API and a difficult structure to manage every time. And I'll talk about application enablement. Gary Barnett will talk about it a lot and actually give some demos, but the engagement development platform is the epitome of how we bring that together. It's a development platform and a set of tools that helps non-experts integrate communications into applications and business processes. It's about creating, through standard APIs, a segregation between the infrastructure layer and the application layer, and then enabling workflows in a very, very simple way. We call that the Avaya Engagement Platform, or Avaya Engagement Development Platform. I like acronyms, it's EDP. And like I said, it's about creating a transformation engine for applications to be supported as snap-ins, simple as what you snap into your iPhone, and using workflows to leverage the resources that are required within the infrastructure without linking physically into the infrastructure at an API level. So it's a modern approach for application enablement, an advanced team and customer engagement services. And again, Gary will talk about that, but I think this is one of the ways, when I talked about the priorities from a mobility standpoint, application enablement standpoint, cloud enablement, this is something you want to walk away with a good understanding of how this is done and how you can leverage this as you engage with your clients. And what we're trying to do is actually create a very user-friendly, reusable set of snap-ins in a snap store environment that will let you connect, enable, or facilitate any specific application to create the outcome and integrate new capabilities into your customer's platform. And every single client that I've shown this to, every single one that we've demoed this to has in fact, it's funny, we have 18 clients that participate with us out of the 40 that are on Executive Advisory Council. And all 18 wanted a copy, or a software license to be able to go home, work through it, access collaboratory in the web. Gary will show you all these things, but basically use engagement development platform day one hitting the road in their environments. So it's not something that's just, it's not alien to them. It's not a middleware platform per se. It's an application enablement platform, and it's solved a tremendous amount of problems for them. Let me switch gears a little bit. When you talk about the industry, we talk about UC, we talk about CC, right, telephony and contact centers, and we talk about the convergence of those two elements. So that's happening, everybody realizes it. No longer are they separate decisions. In most of the transactions we're engaged with our clients and your clients, as you get out there and engage, they're not making a separate decision for UC and telephony and then their contact center, right? They're merging them very quickly. The reason is the application layer is common. It's the same presence-based service, it's the same messaging, it's the same click to chat, click to video, it's the same elements of convergence from an application layer. The other element that's converging very quickly into it is the network. For one thing, a lot of customers are moving, most customers are moving to SIP enable from traditional H323, and they find that voice runs better, faster on SIP, but things happen faster to the network, and the traditional MPLS networks are not keeping up. When I look at the critical account cases that we have from clients that are running into challenges, 72% of them over the last 6 months have not been software problems, have not been impact on bugs in code or any of that piece to it. They've been network element problems. The network architecture cannot stand up to the contact center and UC applications of today. Things happen too fast. In the SIP environment, they happen 1,000 times faster, and they blow the network out. So we find ourselves fixing MPLS networks every day by auditing, going through CAT process. Now, when you look at the network itself, it's a $25 billion market opportunity. And it's grown about 40% year over year through this year. And fabric growth within that as a path to software-defined networking, where most clients are trying to get to, grew about 325% last year and should double that next year. So fabric as an integral component of network and as a key enabler of voice, video, and data integration, right, is growing faster than the entire network spend. In fact, JT, you're going to show some charts, but fabric spend is going to surpass network spend by 2018, I think? 2018. So today we've got, when we look at franchise wins, when we look at where we've implemented fully integrated fabric into a voice, video, contact center environment within a major client, we have about 200 installations worldwide, and that's continuing to grow. So it's real, right? It's real. And what are we trying to do with fabric? Well, first of all, like I said, it is the path to SDM. JT will give you a lot more details, a lot more technical background than I do, but I look at it as software-defined everything. It's not software-defined networking. The win for us collectively is to integrate all of the voice and video platforms onto Fabric in one concentrated architecture. Now, on the application side, even the server side, data center side, virtualization or software-defined, common, right? How many customers do you have who have gone to one path or another virtualization, even at a minimum if it is virtualization in the storage stack, right? The savings are so immense, there's no way they can't do it. But then it's moved into the data center, it's moved into the application layer. We have Aura fully virtualized or VE being installed in many of our large clients. That agility is there. Well, virtualize the network layer, you've got a software-defined environment. Right? That's what Fabric is leading to. JT will give you a better place to do it better. And Fabric is easy. Look from an outcome perspective, reduces TCO, reduces business risk, enhances security dramatically, probably the biggest entry point that we use with customers. And again, you'll see that. I'm not trying to throw your punch, JT, but setting you up, I'm so excited for you. The business risks and the cybersecurity elements are alleviated through the network environments. And so that enablement of mobility and compliance is also enabling security and protecting the business applications, segmenting them, right? So we gain visibility into the network behavior in a very, very different way when we're looking at critical applications. I think 2 weeks ago we hit 205. Right. But we're scaling very, very fast. And the U.S. has led the way in this one, which is interesting. Now Europe is catching up and gaining traction. But we continue to invest. We continue to hire in our base to support you, our partners, outbound into our clients, and we're working with the clients to get them to understand a lot of what I'm talking about. But the main thing is, it's not just the sale of a router or a switch, not at all. It's about solving real business issues that exist within their security, implementation, TCO operations, or seamless integration of all the contact center in the UC world. It's about creating a true business issue resolution through an integrated architecture. So don't toss this out. By the way, the fabric element within the revenue structure should be about 30% of your overall revenues, or you're missing a huge opportunity in growth. Now we made a lot of bold claims on fabric success and its business impact, but I can back it up, right? And JT will show you some of the advantages in detail, but this is exciting stuff, right? This advantage can transform our customers' businesses. They can increase the relevance to customers pretty dramatically, and it's about applications, not about communication. And that's the key point. Now what I wanted to do is just go off screen for just a few minutes and walk you through some of the elements of our revenue stream, to illustrate the transformation. So last year, I talked about transformation as an element of coverage. I talked about how we improve our customer focus, how we drive a culture of winning for the customer, with the customer, right? That's really what we've been working and driving into people within Avaya, within our partner base. How do we create a customer win at all costs mentality, right? Versus a technology, product-centric kind of technology, customers in the way, by the way. Well, we'll sell some stuff, right? And then, so I wanted to show you some of the revenue streams and the evolution of it so you can see how the transformation, in fact, has impacted our capacity from a financial standpoint and also where it's pointing towards in terms of our growth. So this is circa 2009. Hardware, right? Infrastructure. Evidence that we are moving to a software and services company, but it's about intelligent communications, right? It's about proprietary fixed environments at the enterprise level. Very enterprise focused. So, kind of where we were, you see those little red and white trucks every once in a while going into an iteration. When you move into 2010, all of a sudden we started working on our revenue stream transformation, right? At that time we did the Nortel acquisition, whether we liked it or not. And our revenue grew, right? The revenue multiple improved. I made that joke because we bought JT in the process. But we're glad we had it. We added new product categories, right? We added new portfolio rationalization. We did a lot of things through that 2010 period that actually started this curve upwards with the things that were more application-centric, the contact center. And then moving down, and we saw some of the declines start in the maintenance side as more and more CapEx was under pressure. All the way through 2013, you start seeing the new business model ascent, right? You start seeing a much, much stronger EBITDA and much stronger gross margins. And I'll give you some incidents of where they are as we move forward. And you'll see new products emerge. We saw a lot of new services. We see the mid-market start to emerge as a truly distinct opportunity for you, for us, as we grow into it. And I'll talk about that in a minute. We see mobility emerging as what the customers are preferring to buy, not just video, right? They're thinking about how do I create that mobile state? How do I go to, what do you call it, DDI environments or simplified, secure environments for clients, and I can engage with partners, suppliers, vendors, competitors, employees, obviously, in a seamless element of fabric. and legacy products start to decline. They still mute the top line. So when you look at it in this stream too, you can see that the legacy products, the telephony component is starting to sag down and it's hurting the top line. But overall, when you look into it, the way my board of directors does, you see a lot of the Avaya Private Cloud services starting to emerge. You see a lot of the call center application side starting to emerge. And then you go forward to now, and I'll walk you back through 14, but now you're seeing relevance, much higher value, growth in outcomes. You're seeing the emergence of an open mobile enterprise engagement platform. I think 2014 to today, that would be the biggest thing in terms of change in positioning. Everybody talks about being open, but we made a conscious decision 2 years ago to move to open platforms and develop against them. Gary's demonstrations will all be about open platform, transformation against open platform. The enablement of applications comes from open platforms. And so when you go to 2014, you look into today, our fiscal 14 just ending in October, revenue streams, record normalized financials, operating income, EBITDA over 24%, gross margins over 61%, all the revenue streams growth in 4 of 6 categories all of a sudden pop out. Mid-market emerges, growing about 22%. Software and services profiles change dramatically. Very dramatically. And so, circa 15, again, it's about open mobile enterprise engagement. It's about sustaining growth. We've stabilized the legacy, but are dramatically growing in the mid-market. And we're showing continued growth in all of what I call the flanking areas. And you can see that private cloud services and enablement through partners of cloud services is now in an upswing in both quadrants, all green. Support services have stabilized and have moved as an integral component within cloud services. Team engagement and customer engagement growing very, very quickly. No longer contact center and UC, it's converged environments. Whether it's Citigroup, or JPMC, or Barclays, or in Brazil, Bradesco, right? All these accounts, all working towards a converged environment, all working towards customer engagement environment, changing the landscape of how they purchase and changing our revenue streams contracts. So, it's really about renewed intimacy. It's about aligning to high growth markets. It's about product and services with much higher value. And it's about creating frequent touch with customers. Not just through cloud, but changing the engagement model to those customers so that you're constantly bringing applications, new applications to bear. You're constantly leveraging the platform versus a one-time product infrastructure sale of the past with maintenance tied to it. And the only gating factor to it really is execution at this stage. We have the product sets, we have the strategy from those products. Gary will show you how far we've come. I'm sure a lot of you, even though you've kept current, are going to be surprised about some of the things you see and how they are available for you to bring to market today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. And how people are using them. And the 4 flanking markets are really driving excellent growth for us and for you if you take advantage of it. I'm going to walk through 3 last things, 2 market pieces. I wanted to highlight Net Promoter Score. Now, you're all familiar with Net Promoter Score. We began using that as our preferred customer satisfaction gauge a little while ago, and scaled our way up, very measured, very intensely, where we are month by month, quarter by quarter, and we aligned it to the changes that Mike Runda, who runs all of our delivery services component, has been engaging. So as we moved from 12% self-help to 90% self-help, we saw the impact of Net Promoter Score. As we moved from phone only to phone chat to click to video, video itself gave us 10 points of improvement on Net Promoter Score. People ask me often, what's the best ROI for mobility implementation, specifically to video, but a mobile video platform? And the answer that comes out of a lot of the CFOs is, travel avoidance. And of course, we could show them, we save about $17 million a year in travel avoidance by doing that. And that's all cool. Most of them say, I've done that. I've already taken those costs out and stuff to it. The number one thing to tell a CIO or a CXO is, if you could improve your Net Promoter Score by 10 points, would you adopt the mobility strategy? Watch how fast he kisses you. And it is, right? Industry Net Promoter Score leaders outgrow their competitors by more than 2x. That's on average, and that comes from every single one of the analysts. And so for us, we're now ahead of the competition. So as partners to Avaya, I want you to be proud. We dwarf our competitors, whether they're Cisco, Microsoft, we dwarf them. We are best in class. We hit over 50%, as a Net Promoter Score indicator last month. We'll continue to scale it. But we are world class in the 90th percentile, and our key growth areas driving it are cloud, services, mid-market, and networking, interestingly enough. So we're keeping our customers top of mind. We want you to do the same with us. Keep the customers top of mind. And that's what drives us to a much more effective route to market for them. Net Promoter Score for me reflects the soul of Avaya. Simple as that. If you look at all the different antiquated ways we measure customer satisfaction, Net Promoter Score is the indicator of what Avaya is all about. In terms of its soul and its engagement. It's core to everything we do. It means we're listening to our customers. Yes, we'll do better, but it's meaning we're driving continuous improvement in our processes, driving to those customers. Very quickly, I want to not steal your thunder, Chris, on mid-market, but we do believe it's a top market opportunity for us collectively. If you're not capitalizing on mid-market and the sale of IP Office and that structure through, you're missing out on $24 billion of market spend. It's a market that is severely underserved and now are willing to invest in IT where they hadn't in the past. They recognize the differentiation. They recognize the application requirements more than just the phone. Avaya IP Office solutions, etc., are designed to address ways to simply fix processes and streamline their businesses, and they see that. Creates enterprise capabilities, but at a mid-market price structure, and the architecture is unparalleled. So, Chris, you're going to go through that with all of them, and I'd encourage you to really pay attention to it. Decision makers want integrated solutions, and as we move it into cloud, it will further meet their needs, but they want best-of-breed products, they want simplicity, they want IP Office. The mid-market opportunity is huge. Some of the numbers that Chris showed me a little that I stole from him in his presentation were kind of astounding. Did you know that 99% of the global businesses are considered mid-market? I think what they measure is 4,000 employees and up. 99% of the businesses worldwide fall in that category. That's 34 million companies. 3.5 million potential customers are served by you in this room today. 3.5 million. And the opportunity is 34. The projected IT spend in that space for just this year, 2015, is over $53 billion. It's larger than the enterprise. And 80% of those customers can be served with an IP Office platform today. So today we've got single-digit mid-market share with IP Office. So it's a huge opportunity. You're selling into white space. You're selling full-stack IP Office solutions, not just telephony. And you can easily triple your share. Easily. We've more than quadrupled the resources available for you in territory account managers and CAMs. We've listened. Every one of you told me, you don't support us. We're out there selling these products by ourselves. We're changing that. Andy Cunningham, my Chief Marketing Officer, is going to be on tomorrow. She'll talk about engagement. She'll talk about creating much more enablement. We'll talk about demand gen. We're doing that for you. We want to do it with you. We're building territory account management structures to assist and work with you.